Ludwig Ahgren. Now, I'm a big Ludwig fan. I knew about Ludwig's existence all the way back in 2018, when he simply was just barely getting started on streaming, but it looks like if you look back on how far Ludwig has grinded, he has come a really far way, all the way to today. He even has a Wikipedia page. I mean, really, that's how far he's truly come. He started as pretty much a nobody on the platform, then quickly became one of the fastest growing streamers on the platform, even after the 2021 subathon. Ludwig might be one of the biggest streamers of all time to this date. And no, I'm not just gonna suck up to him the entire time. Ludwig's come up is pretty insane, and arguably 2 years from when he started full-time streaming in 2019, to this date he's probably one of the biggest streamers right now on the platform. So who is Ludwig? Ludwig Ahgren was born on July 6, 1995, and being inspired by Call of Duty commentary at the time, which perfectly describes the stage of YouTube back in the day. It wasn't until Ludwig moved to Arizona for college where he realized that he had a talent for wanting to entertain people.
Good night. I am your host, Ludwig. Thank you all for coming. I really do appreciate it. This is my week, and you know, it's been kind of a rough year for me. I'm a senior here at ASU, and you know how high schoolers, when they're seniors, they say like, oh, I have senioritis. For me, I'm kind of like, my equivalent, I'm like at HIV positive, so not great so far, not great.
He got rejected from all the comedy clubs he tried to join, so he found a guy who started his own comedy club on campus, and he allowed him to be one of the founding members of the club. Since it was a brand new club, he really needed some people to join. He also began to pick up the game Super Smash Bros. Melee and started attending local tournaments, and this would be important for his growth as a streamer, ironically joining the same gaming club that Twitch streamer Atrioc founded when he was back at ASU. Which is ironic because Ludwig and Atrioc would later become friends when Ludwig was a full-time streamer. He ended up graduating from Arizona State University in 2017 with an English degree and journalism communications degree. Now, I told you guys something, I'm an OG Ludwig fan, and I'm not really saying that. The first time I saw Ludwig was being the guest in one of the many episodes of the Bad Melee podcast.
You were the funniest man alive with Mikey.
That's the only time I've ever had any success commentating ever.
But also, you have sort of Reddit cred for making a thread about shaving your balls.
You're gonna jump right into that?
Wait, what?
Are you gonna skip over my YouTube channel with over 4 million views?
So,
Or just gonna glaze over
on
my
Reddit,
2 degrees?
Ludwig, he made a post that got a lot of traction in the early days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Of how to shave your wiener.
Yeah, I think it was about, my first month on Reddit. I knew about Reddit for a while. My friend was using it. And, you know, I always thought it was pretty whack. You know, I thought he was secretly using it to figure out how to come out to his parents. Like, that's why I actually thought he was using it.
Right. You know how that goes.
Because I knew they had
Subreddits
forums
that you can do on Reddit.
I wasn't familiar. I just assumed
just
that was the
assumed-
case.
Think of it as your normal type of podcast for Super Smash Bros. Melee, but replace it with a bunch of scrubs who get 0-2 in bracket. And that's pretty much the Bad Melee podcast, or the pod, so to
Octopath
speak.
Traveler.
But it's the idea that, like, you know, you work with, like, I worked in an auto shop, and there was a lot of mechanics and technicians I'm friends with, and they would just go home, slam beers, and watch reality TV.
Slamming beers and watching reality TV sounds hype.
That's
It
the
is
life.
hype.
I've been slamming beers all weekend. Too many beers.
Yeah, because Ben came.
I'm the heaviest I've ever been and the weakest simultaneously. Because I haven't gone to the gym because my rib.
Now's our time.
Yeah,
You think now? If we try
that's running. Dude, that's exactly what Miles said. When I said that he cracked his rib, he's like, no, that's what Ben said. He's
Everybody
like,
keeps running it. Miles said it too.
It was in the Discord, and we're like, yeah, dude, Ludwig like cracked his rib or something, and he just hits his vape. And this is over Discord, and he's like, it's time.
This podcast was full of catchphrases, stories, and really just bros being bros. Just the gang being a gang. And the main host of the podcast being Slime, Ludwig's current manager and best friend to this day, along with co-hosts Miles and Dawson. Literally, they were not afraid to say anything they wanted on the podcast, so they were just friends being friends, which is what made it so interesting. Because, you know, most people on podcasts with friends, they might not have the best dynamic. This podcast had a great dynamic.
Yeah, dude, I get on the couch, Crush is there, and Mike's there, and he's like, hey, Slime, tell me your favorite joke. And I'm like, no, I don't tell jokes.
I don't like everyone ripping on Mike.
The one thing that separated the Bad Melee podcast from, let's say, a podcast with top players is you actually get to hear stories you normally wouldn't hear. And actually, they would bring up stories on top players in the scene, and because they were so low-leveled, they weren't afraid to say whatever they wanted about them. And you would sometimes get some really juicy stories from really low levels in the community. And of course, the one and only Ludwig would guest appear on multiple episodes of the podcast, as Ludwig was on the tail end of getting out of college and started moving to California to live with Slime and his friends. You could actually tell from Ludwig's small appearance on the podcast that he had a lot of charisma even all the way back in 2018. You could clearly tell the dude was pretty funny, and the dynamic between him and Slime was probably the best part of the podcast, and it really just shows their strong dynamic in Ludwig's content to this day. In fact, if it wasn't for the game Super Smash Bros. Melee, Ludwig and Slime would never have met, as their bond truly formed when they started commentating together at Smash Bros. Tournaments. They would start at low-level commentary events, but their dynamic was so strong that they would later commentate bigger slots at bigger events, as time went on, showing their growth as a duo was really strong.
And None, the man who said he was going all Ganon. Is this grimy?
Not if he,
Is it grimy?
No.
And against
Who
everyone
gets
else?
grimed by this?
I guess Johnny, if he expected Ganon.
Oh my god.
Like, okay. I'm just saying. You say it's not grimy, but if Juan de Biedma says, I'm entering all nests tomorrow, and then, you know, whoever's supposed to play him, Zane's like, oh, okay, and doesn't work on his pivot tippers versus Puff, and then Juan's like, uh-oh. You know what I mean?
Oh!
Welcome, campers. Smash Camp Top 8. We got Ludwig and Slime.
It's so hot in here.
You
I
are
had to
opening. I think you could bear to do another button.
This is too, I don't know. That's a little too much.
Try it.
And also, Ludwig would eventually, every now and then, do decent at some Melee tournaments if the attendance was really low.
Welcome to Genesis. How's everybody doing today?
What's
I can't
up?
use stream. I'm using
Yeah,
streamer
what are
voice.
you doing?
I'm using streamer voice and it's speaking. What do you mean? What am I
This is
doing?
now.
I have a mic on. I have a camera on me. I'm in my mode.
Stop talking to me. Welcome to Genesis 7 on
What's up, boys?
Ludwig and Slime continued to commentate events in 2017, where Ludwig would try to push himself even as a Melee commentator at the time, and every now and then take a set or two off of some top 100 Melee players too, which is pretty crazy. But truly, he was mostly known for being a successful commentator and even commentating some of the biggest tournaments like Genesis. In May of 2018, Ludwig would dedicate himself to being a part-time streamer, where the following year he would later become a full-time streamer. In the beginning, when Ludwig started his channel, it was quite small, and his following wasn't really that big. He had a few successful videos on his channel where he had a top 10 salty ice climber moments in Smash, which is his most viewed video to this day. He realized though, despite some viral hits, he changed his content to a new sort of content to relate towards his Twitch streams, which would change his channel to this day. And while his streams started out small, Ludwig ended up being one of the fastest growing streamers on the entire platform of Twitch.
Also, we have to kind of determine right here, right now, what is a laugh? Am I allowed to smile?
Great
We
question.
need to figure
Part of the turbo team! Don't run! They replaced your real toilet with a fart toilet, and now you can't take a dump in your house because your toilet can't suck them down and you feel sick.
Oh, I couldn't do it.
And he would tell many funny stories or many side jobs and attempts of trying to make his Twitch career blossom.
And so during this time, I'm trying to think, what is the quickest way to earn money? And obviously, my mind went to, oh, I'm a young boy. I got a lot of free time to myself. I've been honing my skills. I got a couple swimmers. How about I try the wonderful world of sperm donation? So I go in, they give you a cup, it's sealed, and you walk in this room. And in this room, it's like a 20-inch plasma screen, the one with the giant gray borders, a bunch of 1970s porno DVDs, and one of those chairs that doctors have that white paper over it that makes a lot of noise. And it's not like these are soundproof walls. I can hear the people working. It was a young man and a young woman, and I can hear them literally as I'm in the room with the door closed, like flirting and shit at work and like talking and like giggling while I'm there just looking down at my wee-wee sitting on this paper. And the paper makes it's making so much noise when I'm sitting down, and I'm really uncomfortable.
What really made his Twitch career so interesting is he linked a lot of his Twitch content with his YouTube content, which would go hand in hand, and he was one of probably the prominent Twitch streamers out there doing this correctly, which is why he maintained to be such a big streamer to this day.
You guys, all of you at 40K, it's kind of embarrassing. I went to dinner with him. It was embarrassing. The waitress was like, is this guy sub 40K? I had to say yes. It sucked. So if you could help him out, that'd be great. And I'm thinking, because Nick, if you don't know, my roommate, designs all my merch. I'm like, what would be hype? You know, getting him a sweatshirt is cool and all. But what if I get him a jacket and some really cool shoes? And Nick is a big sneakerhead. And he wanted to get him these insane shoes that were like rainbow. And I was like, I like that. And we shopped around for a bit. And we finally landed on black Gucci Ace shoes with a B on it.
But the one thing that Ludwig had that most people didn't have, well, honestly, his personality is really charismatic, and the dude is a grinder, where in 2019, after basically streaming for almost every day for hours on end, Ludwig decided to plunge into being a full-time streamer. And this would really become a big part of why Ludwig was so popular as a streamer, as this man puts in the work. He started making Smash Brothers content and iconic Pokemon randomized Nuzlocke Let's Plays and Monkey Ball content. Plenty of stream hijinks as well, showing many clips to his Twitch streams. Ludwig would then meet his girlfriend to this day, Cutie Cinderella, through Twitch streaming.
I had a wheatgrass. Wheatgrass. What does wheatgrass do for you? It's weird to double carry beverages.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to double carry because...
The minute she handed me my pina colada, which was like a banana coconut smoothie, it was gonna be awesome. I took a sip of it and then just dropped it.
And also another important thing for Ludwig's channel, his collab content with other creators. At this point, it was really about consistency. As Ludwig said, this quote from the late Reckful inspires him as a streamer. At a certain point, growth becomes more about consistency than creativity, which Ludwig takes this quote and it really becomes the backbone of the Ludbud as a streamer even to this day. And well, if you know anything about Ludwig, this is really where the content really started popping off. He decided after getting his appendix removed, which I actually have my own appendix removed when I was 3, so it's kind of random how we both have our appendix removed. After getting his appendix removed, he decided to do a 24-hour always online stream, Truman Show style, and basically let his stream never end as long as people were willing to sub. This is definitely an interesting Twitch case study because Ludwig was really one of the first streamers to do this to the point of just never ending, especially as how big of a streamer he is. I could see him setting a trend for other streamers, maybe even starting their own 24-hour subathons as well. It's unknown whether Ludwig is planning to end the stream. Oh wait, never mind. As of recording, he did end the stream. He finally announced he was going to stop the subathon, and it's still an interesting case study nonetheless because he definitely earned a lot of money from doing it.
You know, like, I'm not gonna lie, after the subathon, a bunch of people came out the woodwork after dono-walling me for months to work together. I think they're like, wait, maybe he's not just a Humegawall who plays Jump King and Pokemon all day. Not Shroud, like companies. Companies reaching out for sponsors, publicity, all those things I think are worth more than this amount of money. Bidet companies, I will say, that ass though, it's coming. It's coming. But that's the total amount of money. That's the total amount of money I made from a month of streaming. And I could have made more if I had not done charity or not paid mods, but I think it's fine. I think it's a lot of money. You want to know what's crazy to contextualize it though? But that might be like straight up to Mr. Beast video.
So how did Ludwig get to where he started from Smash Commentator to one of the biggest streamers of all time? Well, he's a little crazy, but not in a bad way though. He loves the grind and he loves progression, trying to improve himself, and it really shows in his come up to becoming one of the largest streamers on the platform. And now Slime turned to one of Ludwig's best friends to being his manager, and he even helped him pay his taxes finally, so shoutouts to Slime. I wouldn't be surprised if Ludwig became an actor or something after he quit streaming because this man pretty much oozes talent anywhere he goes. I'm just being pretty honest about that, so shoutouts to Ludwig. I hope you guys enjoy the videos. Take care. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys are interested, there's a Patreon in the description. Shoutouts to those guys. Yeah, you guys have a good day. Take care. Peace.
Because he used to tweet out every time he turned on stream. Old heads remember? How many times does he tweet when he turns on stream now? When it's a sponsorship post, when he's obligated to. Which isn't a problem, but there's a difference there. You know? Does Ludwig get big today if he didn't do what he did. And let's be clear, getting big takes a while. You don't just become XQC in one fucking day. It takes a while no matter what, even if you've got the formula down perfectly. But I think there's room enough at the table for everyone. You just gotta be good enough. And being a content creator who is failing is being able to look at yourself and say, why am I failing? Why am I not good enough? Sometimes it's shit you can't control. A lot of times it is. What has Melee done for you? Given me everything. If I didn't play Melee, I don't even know what my friends would be when I moved here.